So I don't know when you did your matric, but I did mine in 1997, all those years ago. But one thing I do remember is that matric is a high-pressured, stage of education at the best of times. But the class of 2021 has been challenged, at least for 2 years, by the COVID-19 pandemic. So what sort of professional help might they need as the final exams loom? Well, let's discuss this. A counseling psychologist at Curro Mount Richmore, Jarryd Byron, joins me now for that conversation. Jarryd, thank you for your time. So part of what you do is talk to children all day, and that is fantastic work. You get insights that many of us don't get on a daily basis. From the conversations, and obviously you can't reveal, what would amount to confidential discussions with the children, but you must be getting a sense of patterns of what concerns them the most at this time?
Yes, morning, thank you. There are a lot of trends that I see on a daily basis. The first one is the stress of trying to catch up the work over 2 years. So obviously the Matrics have lost, last year and a lot of this year. And a lot of the concern is the hybrid teaching or online learning, where a number of new things come up that they don't understand and unfortunately don't get the support online. So there's a lot of stress around that, and obviously a lot of motivation is required to help these learners catch up over the next few weeks before they write.
So I see that
the next one was
go ahead.
Sorry, the next thing is the pressure is getting the marks high enough to get into what they want to study at university. So there's a lot of pressure mounting on these learners trying to get into the courses they want to study and the courses that they should be studying. So obviously, it's a lot of pressure when your marks are not as good as they need to be.
Are there any specific concerns that you are picking up that have to do with the format of learning and teaching that these young people have had to adapt to in the last 2 years? That rotational learning process and uncertainty at times, but also in some instances, the switch to online learning, which, according to a recent report, poses its own challenges in as far as attention span is concerned.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as I say, motivation levels are certainly different online to being at school. I found a significant difference in that, and just wanting to be online. A lot of issues come about with Wi-Fi problems or no data, and then the unstructured nature of it. Being at school and then it's hybrid. You can choose being at school or not at school, and then purely being online can make a huge difference. So I know a lot of schools now have started Saturday school as well, just to increase, the amount of time face-to-face teaching. But overall, the unstructuredness has been really, really problematic. And I think it'll continue to be problematic until we obviously solve the COVID and where we are at the moment.
So add to that matrix then, Jarryd, the upcoming matric exams, which, despite our best efforts as a society, we don't seem to be making headway in terms of, defining it as anything other than future defining, right? Somehow we put so much into this one exam over a schooling career of over 12 years, thereabouts. But yet we put so much and peg so much of a young person's future on this one exam. And I imagine then the amount of stress that adds to, what's already been a stressful period of at least 2 years of the 12. What conversations are happening now about exam readiness and what concerns are, given also the backlogs in as far as the content is concerned?
Yeah, that is the concern at the moment, is catching up, as you say, the backlog. So a lot of the talks are around how to deal with stress in an appropriate manner, how to identify stress, how to identify when you're burning out and studying too much, if that's possible. But burnout is a real thing, I think, at the moment for Matrics. And it's something that needs to be identified not only by the Matrics, but also their parents. If you burn out too quickly, you're not going to get the marks that you need to get into the varsity you want to get into. And I've seen a lot of that lately, especially, as you said, the backlog, trying to catch up all the content, taking the 2-year knock-on effect, as it were, and squeezing it into potentially 18 to 16 months. So it is concerning, but parents play a big role in this factor, as well as teachers. I think they can also identify when this happens and speak to the students and learners and see what they need to help them, especially when the stress is high or when they do feel like they're breaking down or burning out.
All right, I've got to thank you for your time and your insights. Jarryd Byron is a counseling psychologist at Curo Mount Richmore, talking to us there about some of the stresses and some of the interactions that he has on a daily basis with young people, the children and in the high school and as they're preparing for matric exams in a context of COVID-19 and 2 years of schooling disruptions.